Welcome to Whisper Facts 101. Here is 101 fascinating facts about finish the season on a hot streak. In the 2007 NFL season, the New York Giants barely made the playoffs with a 10-6 record, finishing the regular season on a modest 3-2 run. But their postseason hot streak became legendary. The Giants defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys, and Green Bay Packers, each on the road, before facing the undefeated 18-0 New England Patriots in Super Bowl 42. They won in a stunning upset, capped by David Tyree's iconic helmet catch, showcasing how momentum at the right time can overcome even historic dominance. The 2004 Boston Red Sox are the ultimate example of finishing a season on a hot streak. After being down 0-3 against the Yankees in the ALCS, they became the first MLB team to ever come back from such a deficit in a best-of-7 series. They carried that miraculous energy into the World Series and swept the St. Louis Cardinals. What began as desperation turned into an unstoppable wave of momentum, ending their infamous 86-year championship drought. Leicester City's 2015-2016 Premier League season is often described as one of the most improbable achievements in sports history. However, it wasn't just the whole season that stunned the world. It was their final stretch that sealed the story. In their last 12 matches, they went undefeated, securing critical points with narrow wins and clean sheets. That hot finish wasn't luck. It was the sign of a cohesive, confident underdog peaking at exactly the right moment. In NBA history, the 1999 New York Knicks are the only 8th-seeded team to make it to the finals, and their hot streak at the end of that shortened lockout season made it possible. After barely clinching a playoff spot, they stunned the top-seeded Miami Heat in the first round and continued the run to the NBA Finals. Though they eventually lost to the Spurs, their late-season spark turned into one of the most unexpected Cinderella stories in basketball history. The 2011 St. Louis Cardinals were written off by nearly every analyst by August. But in their final 32 games, they posted a 23-9 record, edging past the Braves for the wild-card spot. That momentum exploded into the postseason, culminating in a World Series win. David Freese's heroics in Game 6 became an instant classic, all made possible by the team's extraordinary late-season push that no one saw coming. In the 2006 NCAA men's basketball tournament, George Mason University shocked the world by reaching the Final Four. As an 11th seed, they weren't expected to win a single game. Yet they closed their season on a 6-1 streak and carried that fire through to wins over powerhouses like Michigan State, North Carolina, and UConn. Their hot streak didn't just define a postseason. It reshaped how underdogs are viewed in March Madness forever. Tiger Woods' 2000 season is one of the greatest in golf history, but it's the way he finished that truly stands out. He won 6 consecutive PGA Tour events to close out the year, including 3 majors. The psychological dominance he established during that stretch was unmatched. Competitors didn't just fear him, they were defeated before the first tee. His hot streak became a mental juggernaut that transcended golf itself. In the world of business, Apple Incorporated experienced a monumental end to the 2004 fiscal year. After years of playing second fiddle in the tech world, the final quarter's performance, boosted by iPod sales and iTunes store growth, triggered a hot streak that would redefine the company. That momentum didn't just close a season strong. It launched a cultural and financial transformation that echoed through the next 2 decades. The Miami Heat's 2012-2013 season under LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh included a 27-game win streak. But it's how they finished that season that matters most. In the NBA Finals, they were down 3-2 to the San Antonio Spurs. Game 6 featured Ray Allen's clutch three-pointer that forced overtime. Miami won Games 6 and 7 to take the title. It's not how you start, it's how hot you finish when everything's on the line. The 1993-94 Houston Rockets ended their season on a smoking hot pace, securing their first-ever NBA title. After a mid-season lull, they recalibrated, winning 20 of their last 25 regular season games. That surge carried into the playoffs, where Hakeem Olajuwon elevated his game to legendary levels. The Rockets finished as champions not by dominating the whole year, but by catching fire when it mattered most. In Major League Baseball's 1977 season, the Kansas City Royals finished the regular season with a jaw-dropping 24-3 record in their final 27 games. This unprecedented burst of dominance propelled them into the postseason with the best record in the American League. Although they fell short in the ALCS against the Yankees, their red-hot finish remains one of the most explosive in baseball history, showcasing how late-season chemistry and urgency can make a team nearly unbeatable in the final stretch. The 2001 New England Patriots began the season 1-3 and had just lost their franchise quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, to injury. What followed was one of the greatest late-season turnarounds in NFL history, led by an improving Tom Brady. The team finished the season 11-5, went on a postseason tear, and defeated the Rams in Super Bowl 36. That hot streak not only ended the season with a title, it launched a dynasty that would redefine football greatness for the next 2 decades. During the 2018 NHL season, the St. Louis Blues were in last place in the entire league as late as January 3rd. But from that point onward, they mounted one of the most extraordinary comebacks in professional sports. They went on a 30-10-5 run, riding rookie goaltender Jordan Binnington's stellar performance. They eventually won the Stanley Cup, the first in franchise history. No one expected their cold, failing season to ignite into one of the hottest streaks the sport had ever seen. In college football, the 2006 Boise State Broncos delivered one of the most iconic finishes ever seen by an underdog. After finishing the regular season undefeated, their performance in the Fiesta Bowl against the Oklahoma Sooners cemented their hot streak into legend. They executed multiple trick plays, including the unforgettable Statue of Liberty play, to clinch a 43-42 overtime victory. That finish wasn't just thrilling, it redefined the potential of non-powerhouse programs in the BCS era. The 1990 Cincinnati Reds opened the season strong, but it cooled by mid-season, with doubts emerging about their consistency. But in the final weeks and postseason, they roared back with intensity. The Reds swept the heavily favored Oakland Athletics in the World Series, a team that had dominated for 3 consecutive seasons. That postseason hot streak was fueled by a bullpen known as the Nasty Boys, proving once again that clutch timing is everything in baseball. The 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team didn't just win the famous Miracle on Ice game against the Soviets, they finished the tournament on a true hot streak. After a tie in their opening match, they reeled off 6 consecutive wins, including the legendary 4-3 victory over the USSR and a gold medal win over Finland. Their end-of-tournament dominance wasn't just inspiring, it was historically improbable, becoming a national symbol of underdog resilience. In the 2009 NFL season, the San Diego Chargers quietly ended the regular season with an 11-game winning streak, finishing 13-3 and securing a first-round bye. Though they were upset by the Jets in the divisional round, the hot finish remains one of the best in franchise history. It was the kind of momentum that turned a playoff contender into a legitimate Super Bowl threat, showing how powerful late-season rhythm can be, even if it doesn't always end in a title. The 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers pulled off one of the most dramatic hot streaks in NBA history. After falling behind 3-1 in the finals to the Golden State Warriors, a team that had set a record with 73 regular season wins, the Cavs won 3 straight games to claim the championship. LeBron James' iconic block, Kyrie Irving's clutch 3, and their unmatched intensity turned what looked like a sure loss into a legendary comeback, rewriting what it means to finish a season hot. In Major League Soccer, the 2016 Seattle Sounders began the season terribly, going 6-12-2 and firing their head coach mid-season. But with a leadership change and the rise of midfielder Nicolas Lodeiro, they caught fire. From late August, they lost only twice and surged into the playoffs. Seattle eventually won the MLS Cup in penalties, completing one of the most unlikely turnarounds in league history. Their hot streak wasn't gradual, it was volcanic. The 1995-96 Chicago Bulls are remembered for their record-setting 72-10 regular season, but their true hot streak was how they sealed the deal. After going 15-3 in the playoffs, they dominated the NBA Finals against the Seattle Supersonics. That postseason run proved they weren't just great statistically, they were virtually untouchable when the lights were brightest. Michael Jordan's return that year wasn't just a comeback. It sparked the ignition of one of the fiercest late-season teams in sports history. In 1985, the Villanova Wildcats men's basketball team barely qualified for the NCAA tournament as an 8 seed and were not seen as serious contenders. But they caught fire at the perfect moment, winning 5 consecutive games to reach the title match. Then, in what's considered one of the greatest upsets in college basketball history, they defeated Patrick Ewing's Georgetown Hoyas by shooting an astonishing 78.6% from the field. That shooting streak wasn't just hot, it was statistically miraculous. The 2002 Oakland Athletics set an American League record by winning 20 consecutive games in the final third of the season, a streak immortalized in the film Moneyball. Led by the unorthodox front office strategies of Billy Beane and the emerging talent of players like Barry Zito and Miguel Tejada, the team surged past more expensive rivals. That finish proved data-driven efficiency and psychological momentum can fuse to create an unforgettable run. In the 2013 NFL season, the Philadelphia Eagles turned their fortunes around after a 3-5 start. Under first-year head coach Chip Kelly, the team found its rhythm late in the year and won 7 of their last 8 games to secure the NFC East title. Nick Foles led the team with surgical efficiency, and their offense looked nearly unstoppable. Their hot finish was the perfect example of a team peaking exactly when needed to steal a division title. The 2020 Miami Heat were not favorites heading into the NBA bubble playoffs, especially as a 5th seed. But they went on a searing run, defeating the heavily favored Bucks and Celtics to reach the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler's intense performances, including a 40-point triple-double, became the stuff of legend. Though they ultimately lost to the Lakers, their explosive hot streak in a uniquely pressurized bubble environment redefined their identity for years to come. In 2005, the Chicago White Sox closed out their season with a burst of energy that shocked even their own fans. After a small slump in early September, they roared into the playoffs and swept both the ALCS and the World Series, going 11-1 in the postseason. Their late season and playoff dominance broke an 88-year championship drought. That incredible finish showed that when a team gets hot at the right time, even decades of history can be rewritten in just weeks. The 1997 Florida Marlins proved that you don't have to dominate all year to end as champions. A wildcard team with the 5th best record in the National League, they caught fire in the playoffs behind clutch performances from Livan Hernandez and Moises Alou. They defeated the Cleveland Indians in a dramatic 7-game World Series. Their explosive late run and Game 7 walk-off made them one of the few wild-card teams to ever finish the season on such a scorching note. During the 2008 Beijing Olympics, Michael Phelps didn't just win 8 gold medals. He finished every race on a seemingly magical upward trajectory. Each event built momentum, culminating in an iconic 4x100-meter medley relay, where Phelps' butterfly leg gave Team USA the push it needed. That crescendo-like progression across multiple days was an athletic hot streak on a global stage, with each finish feeding the intensity of the next. In NASCAR, Tony Stewart's 2011 chase for the Cup run is considered one of the greatest postseason performances in the sport's history. Entering as a perceived underdog, Stewart won 5 of the 10 playoff races and finished tied in points with Carl Edwards. He won the championship on a tiebreaker due to more wins. Stewart's last month rampage was the definition of finishing the season in unbeatable form. The 2003-2004 Detroit Pistons looked like a solid defensive unit during most of the regular season, but weren't pegged as true title contenders. However, in the final games of the season and into the playoffs, they became defensively dominant and unstoppable in execution. Their hot streak culminated in a 4-1 series upset over the star-studded Los Angeles Lakers. They didn't just win, they dismantled a dynasty at the perfect time. The 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars entered the playoffs as an underdog after finishing strong in the regular season. Riding a tough defense nicknamed Saxonville and a rejuvenated offense, they defeated the Bills and then stunned the Steelers in the divisional round. They came close to toppling the Patriots in the AFC Championship. Though they fell just short of the Super Bowl, their late-season hot streak sparked national attention and made them a feared team overnight. The 2014 Kansas City Royals entered the playoffs as a wild card team after finishing the season with a burst of speed, winning 9 of their last 12 games. Their momentum didn't stop there. They staged a dramatic extra innings comeback against the Oakland A's in a wild card game, and then swept the Angels and Orioles. Though they narrowly lost the World Series in Game 7 to the Giants, their postseason run shocked the baseball world. Their hot finish reignited a city's passion for baseball and set the tone for a championship run the very next year. In tennis, Andre Agassi's 1999 season serves as one of the greatest comebacks in the sport's history. Once ranked outside the top 140, Agassi found his form midway through the season and went on a tear, winning the French Open and reaching the finals of Wimbledon. He capped off the year with a U.S. Open win and reclaimed the world #1 ranking. His finish to the season wasn't just about winning. It was about rewriting a career many thought was finished. The 2003-2004 Porto FC team under Jose Mourinho finished their season with one of the most astonishing hot streaks in European football history. After building momentum late in the domestic campaign, they surged through the UEFA Champions League, defeating heavyweights like Manchester United and Deportivo La Coruña. They culminated their streak with a 3-0 thrashing of AS Monaco in the final. That red-hot run helped launch Mourinho into global superstardom and showcased how momentum can outmatch even financial muscle. In the 2011 MLB season, the Tampa Bay Rays pulled off an unbelievable finish to clinch a playoff spot. Down 9 games in the wild card race at the start of September, they stormed back to tie the Red Sox. On the final day of the season, the Rays overcame a 7-0 deficit to beat the Yankees, while Boston collapsed against the Orioles. That night, often referred to as the greatest night in baseball, was made possible by Tampa's relentless hot streak. In 2017, Serena Williams returned to tennis after a series of injuries and personal challenges and stormed through the Australian Open, winning all 7 matches without dropping a single set. What's even more astonishing is that she was 8 weeks pregnant during the tournament. Her dominance at the end of that stretch reasserted her as the most mentally resilient and physically dominant player in women's tennis history. That hot streak wasn't just athletic, it was superhuman. In Formula One, Jenson Button's 2009 season with Braun GP began hot but cooled in the middle. Yet his final surge in the last races of the year cemented his championship. After a shaky summer, Button finished strong, earning crucial points in Brazil to secure the title with 1 race left. His ability to reignite his form under pressure highlighted how championship-caliber drivers thrive most under late-season stakes. The 2018 Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team wasn't on anyone's radar for a playoff run early in the season. But after making a quarterback switch to Ian Book, they closed out the regular season undefeated, riding a 12-game win streak into the college football playoff. Their defense tightened, and their offense found rhythm late. Though they were ultimately defeated by Clemson, their end-of-season explosion brought them back to national prominence for the first time in years. In 2007, the Colorado Rockies shocked the baseball world by winning 14 of their final 15 regular season games to force a 1-game playoff with the San Diego Padres. They won that game in 13 innings, and went on to sweep both the Phillies and the Diamondbacks in the playoffs. Though they were ultimately swept in the World Series by the Red Sox, their historic 21-1 stretch to reach the finals is one of the hottest finishes in MLB history. In the 2013-14 NHL season, the Los Angeles Kings barely squeaked into the playoffs as the 8th seed. But what followed was an unprecedented hot streak. They won 3 consecutive Game 7s on the road and then captured the Stanley Cup in 5 games against the New York Rangers. Their ability to go from the brink of elimination to total dominance showed the pure chaos and beauty of a team catching fire when it matters most. In 2002, Brazil's national team entered the FIFA World Cup amid doubts and injuries, but they finished the tournament with one of the most dominant hot streaks in international football. They won all 7 of their matches, led by Ronaldo's stunning return to form with 8 goals. Brazil's perfect streak culminated in a 2-0 victory over Germany in the final. It wasn't just a tournament win, it was a resurrection of the country's footballing pride, sealed by a red-hot run. In the 1998 NFL season, the Atlanta Falcons went largely unnoticed until they closed out their year with a blazing 9-game winning streak. Their momentum led them all the way to the Super Bowl, defeating the powerhouse Minnesota Vikings in a dramatic NFC Championship game. That game ended with a missed Gary Anderson field goal, his only miss all season, and a walk-off Falcons kick in overtime. Atlanta's final surge turned them from fringe playoff hopefuls into a surprise Super Bowl contender, showing how much weight a perfect finish can carry in the postseason. The 1983 NC State Wolfpack men's basketball team, famously dubbed the Cardiac Pack, exemplified the ultimate Cinderella run. Their late-season hot streak included close ACC tournament wins that got them into the NCAA tournament. From there, they toppled higher-ranked teams round after round, ultimately defeating Houston's legendary Phi Slama Jama squad in a nail-biting national championship finish. That buzzer-beater alley-oop was the exclamation point on one of the most emotionally intense and improbable hot streaks in college basketball history. In the 2016 MLB season, the Cleveland Indians closed the regular season with a strong finish, winning the AL Central with confidence. But it was their red-hot playoff streak that stunned fans. They swept the Red Sox, beat the Blue Jays in 5, and nearly won the World Series in a thrilling 7-game duel against the Cubs. Despite losing in extra innings of Game 7, their late-season run, especially with key injuries, was a study in chemistry, heart, and resilience peaking at the right moment. In college football, the 2007 West Virginia Mountaineers were on a white-hot finish toward a BCS title game berth, winning 6 straight games by wide margins and ranking number 2 nationally. However, in their final regular season game, they were upset by rival Pitt in what became one of the most shocking endings to a hot streak ever. The loss denied them a chance at a national championship, proving that even blazing momentum can be undone by one poorly timed stumble. The 1990-91 Chicago Bulls, in Michael Jordan's first championship season, didn't just dominate, they peaked with unmatched precision. After years of playoff heartbreak, they entered the postseason with laser focus, going 15-2 in the playoffs and sweeping the Detroit Pistons, their longtime tormentors. Their finals dismantling of the Lakers in 5 games marked not just the end of a season, but the beginning of a dynasty, all sparked by finishing the season on a near-flawless tear. The 2015 Carolina Panthers shocked the NFL with a 15-1 regular season, but it was their electric 14-game winning streak that made headlines. Led by MVP Cam Newton, they blew out teams with ease and looked invincible entering the playoffs. They steamrolled the Seahawks and Cardinals before being upset by the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50. Still, their dominant finish leading up to the big game remains one of the hottest and most thrilling in modern football memory. The 2018 Milwaukee Brewers were locked in a tense NL Central race with the Cubs but caught fire at the perfect time, winning their final 8 games to force a tiebreaker and winning that too. They then swept the Rockies and pushed the Dodgers to 7 games in the NLCS. Their ability to elevate their play in crunch time reinvigorated a fan base and re-established Milwaukee as a postseason threat after years of near misses. The 2012 San Francisco 49ers didn't begin their season with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, but when he was inserted mid-season, the offense ignited. The team finished the season strong and carried that fire through the playoffs, including a comeback win against the Falcons in the NFC Championship. Although they fell just short in the Super Bowl to the Ravens, their mid-to-late season surge changed the franchise's direction and marked the rise of a new dual-threat era in NFL quarterbacking. In the 2010-11 UEFA Champions League, FC Barcelona finished their season with one of the most dominant hot streaks in football history. After surviving a controversial semi-final against Real Madrid, they delivered a masterclass performance in the final, defeating Manchester United 3-1 at Wembley. Pep Guardiola's side played with such cohesion, pace, and precision that even seasoned professionals described them as unstoppable. That final was the climax of a season-long build-up to absolute peak form. The 1981 MLB season was split into two halves due to a strike, but the Los Angeles Dodgers caught fire in the second half and used that momentum to blaze through the playoffs. Behind the legendary pitching of Fernando Valenzuela and clutch performances from their lineup, they won the World Series over the New York Yankees. Their hot finish after a disjointed year reminded everyone that consistency is great, but finishing strong wins championships. In the 2013 college football season, Auburn University experienced one of the most electrifying hot streaks in the sport's history. After starting the season unranked, they won 9 of their last 10 games, including the kick 6 against Alabama, a last-second, 109-yard return of a missed field goal that shocked the defending champs. Their streak carried them to the BCS National Championship game, capping a season that started in mediocrity and ended in national prominence. Few finishes in football history have felt more magical or sudden. The 1991 Minnesota Twins went from worst to first in the span of a single season, and their momentum surged strongest at the end. After finishing the regular season with a 15-5 run, they tore through the playoffs and won the World Series in 7 games over the Atlanta Braves. Game 7, 1-0 in 10 innings, was a fitting climax to their fiery postseason, showcasing a team that burned brightest when it mattered most. In 2015, Novak Djokovic didn't just dominate tennis, he ended the season on a near-unstoppable streak. Winning 3 of the 4 Grand Slams and finishing with an 82-6 record, he closed the year by winning the ATP Finals, defeating Roger Federer. His end-of-year form was so relentless that he spent a record 31 consecutive weeks with more than double the ranking points of the world number 2. His dominance at season's end marked one of the most commanding finishes the sport has ever seen. The 2008 Arizona Cardinals weren't expected to be a playoff threat, especially after a middling 9-7 regular season. But they hit their stride late and went on a surprising playoff run, winning 3 straight games to reach the Super Bowl. Though they narrowly lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, their late-season surge redefined the franchise's image. Kurt Warner's resurgence and Larry Fitzgerald's breakout postseason solidified this run as one of the NFL's most unforgettable hot streaks. In NCAA baseball, the 2019 Michigan Wolverines barely made it into the tournament, but went on an epic run that saw them upset national powerhouses like UCLA and Texas Tech. They made it all the way to the College World Series finals against Vanderbilt. Though they ultimately fell just short, their postseason firestorm proved that in college sports, a hot streak at the right moment can turn underdogs into near legends. The 2017-18 Vegas Golden Knights were an expansion team with no expectations, yet they ended the regular season hot, won the Pacific Division, and made a shocking run to the Stanley Cup final. Their chemistry peaked late in the season, and they defeated 3 playoff opponents before falling to the Washington Capitals. For a brand new franchise to finish its first ever season on that kind of tier was unprecedented in professional sports history. In the 2006 NFL season, the Indianapolis Colts looked shaky heading into the playoffs with a struggling run defense. But they caught fire at just the right time. Peyton Manning led a focused offense while the defense tightened up, culminating in a Super Bowl 41 victory over the Chicago Bears. The late-season switch flipped after years of postseason disappointment, proving that even a team with flaws can get scorching hot and rewrite its legacy. In 2014, Rory McIlroy entered the second half of the golf season with 2 missed cuts and only 1 win. But he closed out the year with a blistering hot streak, winning the Open Championship, the WGC Bridgestone Invitational, and the PGA Championship in just 4 weeks. That stretch of dominance catapulted him back to number 1 in the world and secured him multiple Player of the Year honors. His summer finish remains one of golf's most explosive season closers. The 1996-97 Utah Jazz ended their season by winning 15 of their last 17 games, claiming the top seed in the Western Conference. They rode that momentum through the playoffs, reaching their first NBA Finals. Though they lost to Michael Jordan's Bulls, the Jazz's final weeks of the season were the most cohesive and effective stretch in the franchise's history. Karl Malone and John Stockton reached their peak as a duo, proving a late-season streak can elevate even long-established stars. In 2010, the San Francisco Giants surged into the postseason after overtaking the Padres in the final week of the regular season. With their pitching staff led by Tim Lincecum and Madison Bumgarner, they dominated opponents and went on to win the World Series, ending a 56-year drought for the franchise. Their season-ending push and postseason dominance made the phrase "torture baseball" into a badge of honor among fans, forever tied to a red-hot finish that sparked a dynasty.